What's up, everybody? It's Casey, host of the Casey on Tap podcast. Awesome pod coming up today. We are talking all things Lima Masters with my wingman, PGA professional Douglas William Wade. We've got Lima Masters founding member Mike Konopka, and of course, the honorary starter for the event, Hall of Famer, Lima Central Catholic basketball coaching legend, Bob Seggerson. Joins us today with stories you just have to hear yourself. They're incredible. You don't want to miss this one. But before we get there, today's episode has a very special sponsor. I'm incredibly excited about it. My first children's book, Bark to the Future, Clubber and Buster's Big Time Adventure, is officially out now and published. It's packed with fun, imagination, heart, and two time-traveling dogs, my real-life dogs, Buster, the Blue Boston Terrier, and Clubber, the Cane Corso. They're on a mission to spark courage and curiosity and kindness to the generations before and after. So whether you've got kids, nieces, nephews, friends, it's a great gift. You just want to support the show, head over to Amazon or Kindle, grab your copy today. I greatly appreciate it. Had a ton of fun. Hope you enjoy it too. All right, now on with today's huge podcast. We got to say hello, as we always do on the Casey on Tap platform. We have a download today from Hong Kong, which makes our 18th country, 162 cities. So today we've got Detroit, Michigan, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, Jeffersonville, Indiana, and Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Hong Kong to say hello to. We always say hello to the new ones. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a legendary coach today. And if I may, Coach, just allow me to properly introduce you. Okay. We're talking about a 32-year coaching career at Lima Central Catholic, stepping down when he's on top of the mountain after a state championship in 2010. He went to state with his teams 6 different times. This is the state of Ohio, folks. This is basketball country. Don't mix it up, okay? 89, 94, 92, 93, and 2000. State runner-ups in 89 and 94, okay? He's a Hall of Fame member here in the high school Hall of Fame in the state of Ohio, Basketball Hall of Fame. 518 wins, 209 losses, 71% winning percentage. Ohio Coach of the Year twice, 20 sectional championships, 9 district titles, 6 regional crowns. Coach Bob Seggerson, welcome. How was that?
That was great.
Was that okay?
That was great. I have to remind you, Casey, that you still have some detentions back at LCC that you have to take care of.
I was hoping you would. I wasn't sure you'd even remember who I was. This is true.
Are you kidding me? Here's what I remember about Casey. You were at WLIO for a while.
This is true.
I remember telling you, I thought you were great, by the way. I'm not kidding.
Well, thank you.
And I remember telling you were going to be on ESPN someday.
That's right.
This is kind of close, right?
The third gentleman you're looking at right here, Douglas Wade, you probably remember him as well. Hey, Coach, Doug was talking a lot today about wanting to hear you say perhaps he was in the top 5 shooters of all time you've ever coached.
A shooter. Doug
yeah.
Especially if you put money on it.
Ooh.
He could shoot.
We went down memory lane with a bunch of different players and teams that we're excited to ask you about here as we get going. But yeah, man, there's just so many memories, not just from the years that I played, but from the years before and after us. And when you're growing up and you aspire to be on that court, those teams like in the late 80s and early 90s, just, man, there's so many names and people that we still run into and see and that come up in random conversations. I mean, down here in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's amazing how many people, basketball players in particular, that just random friends of mine know from Lima. Oh yeah, I know that name. I remember them. Like, oh, they graduated in 02 or 98 or whatever it is. And so it's really cool.
Right. They did that too. I see it too in Columbus. A lot of LCC grads in Columbus. My 3 are down there. And they're constantly running. My daughter, Sarah, she's a pharmacist. And people come in all the time, and she recognizes them from LCC.
Ladies and gentlemen, all joking aside, we've got a legend here and somebody who just reeks of respect. If you want to learn a couple things today about life, about coaching, about what matters, you've come to the right place. Coach, let's start with the Lima Masters. Okay, you've been chosen. You're the honorary starter for the Lima Masters. Just give us your thoughts.
Well, this is only the second year, I think, of it. But even in the first year, they grabbed my attention immediately because they're really clever about how they use social media. and they started putting up little clips on social media of past games, not just, Elida, LCC, Bass Senior High, the whole area, just like a play or two. And it grabbed the attention of a lot of people, especially old athletes. And it wasn't just like from the last 10 years. They could go back to the 80s and grab snippets. And so that started catching my eye. And then I realized that they were having this golf outing, and, it was for charity. So I thought, well, this is a great idea. And then as I looked into it more this year, I realized the theme behind the entire process is friendship.
Yep.
And that's been my theme in coaching for almost my entire career. Because, people talk about how coaches build character. Well, I never was a big fan of that. I think we help. I think character is learned at home. I think it's learned in families. But we coaches, we can help. And so I look back on my past teams and I try to figure out, now, what did they learn? And I've come to the conclusion, the number one thing that athletes in any sport at any level, if you go up to them when they're older, like my age or even, younger, and ask them, what do you remember? What did you learn about your career in basketball, football, golf, whatever? They immediately talk about their friends. It's friendship. Don't miss the point. It's friendship. And you can bump into people decades later and immediately form a connection. And so I love the idea that they made friendship the theme of their, the theme and like the building block of their organization, because it's a great message.
The organization's name is For the Friendship.
Right.
Yeah, that is the name. And you're right. You just talk about, we had Mike Konopka on yesterday. He's one of the chairmen.
Sure.
And it just started with close friends and playing golf together and wanting to spread the word about how you're, like you said, the life, just the sports.
That gets lost in today's world of money. Our scholarships, where you get people who think that the reason for basketball, for instance, in my case, is to get a scholarship. No, I mean, it's nice that kids can get a scholarship, especially if that's their only way into another bracket, that type of thing. But sports was not developed for scholarships or for money. It was developed for everybody to become part of something bigger than themselves, and for a chance to learn some of those characters traits, so the coach can add some of that, traits, like hard work and discipline and, resiliency, all those things that you can learn when you're a part of a team, and when you're competing. But to me, I just think friendship is at the top. Go to any professional player, go to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or go to some great football player or, somebody who was famous and ask them what they think about their life in sports. They won't tell you about their championships. They won't start by telling you about, their individual awards. They talk about the camaraderie in a locker room, especially when it's winning. And they'll talk about the friendships that exist over a period of time. I think I told this to you, Doug. I was in an airport about 3 years ago. I had played basketball at St. Joe, and one of our big rivals was Evansville. We played them every year. They won the national championships a couple of years. And I played against this big dude named Steve Wellmer, who we called the Whale. And it was fierce. I mean, we got after each other. And I'm sitting in an airport in, I think, Charlotte, North Carolina, waiting for an exchange in planes. And they canceled the flight. So you had to go up to the booth. You got to get your ticket changed and all that. And all of a sudden, I noticed a big dude, about 3 or 4 people in front of me. And I go up and I'm looking at it. I said, that looks like Wellmer. So I go up and I tap him on the shoulder. All right. Now, I haven't seen him in 40 years since we battled each other 3 years in a row. And I tapped him on the shoulder and he turned around. He looked at me and he said, Seggerson. Just like that.
No kidding.
We started laughing and we kind of embraced each other and we went to the bar and we got to know each other better. And I mean, it was just, I think that to me, that's a reward of athletic competition.
My grandpa used to harp on me. He'd say, I'm not interested in who you are at a birthday party or happy hour or good times. I'm interested in who you are in the face of the lion when adversity strikes. And when you're on the field, whether it's a football field, basketball court, what have you, and the teams, and maybe you're at an away arena and we'll talk about this, some of the crazy gymnasiums you've coached in, and just when everyone's on top of you and you're in that huddle together, I'm still friends with. I mean, Matt Sebecki, Ryan Seitz, Billy Gephardt. I mean, those are the times I remember, like you said, Coach, not necessarily all the triumphant times, but the times you're looking at each other like, hey, I got you. I mean, I can imagine the huddles you had with your teams like, boys, look at me, like we're going to get through this together. And then now you see those guys, it's still just amazing.
That's exactly what happened. At some point in the season, teams got to come together. Some teams never quite make it like that. But when you do that and you got some talent, that's when you can run. I mean, that's when you can really go. My last year of coaching, we started out, our first game was against Elida. We got beat by 40 points.
Is that right?
In the Tip-Off Classic. And then
holy cow,
we lost to Shawnee, so we're 0-2. Now, a lot of them were football players we only had like a week of practice.
Okay.
Time, we're still under 500. And I'm like, we're going to go up and play Liberty Benton, who was undefeated, number 1 in the state, Aaron Kraft. And I told him before, I said, we're going to beat this team. And we're going to change our year. We're going to turn the season around. Well, we went up there, we got our butt kicked. And so we're coming back on the school bus, real quiet. We get back in the locker room. I bring the varsity in the locker room, and I could tell something wasn't right. They were losing confidence, in themselves and each other and me. And so I took them down to the chapel. You remember the chapel, the old chapel?
Oh yeah, of course.
And I went in there and I worked them. I worked them about resiliency, which was, if you remember, Father Hur that was his big theme, was resiliency. And I could feel in that locker room, because I talked about we can't let people from the outside divide us. The solution isn't going to come outside the locker room. We have to figure this out. We're going to get better. And I preach that resiliency thing, that a great athlete, a great leader, is made stronger by the blow that cuts him down if he gets up. And I said, we're getting up. You know what I mean? And I could kind of feel that thing, because I had great players and they were good kids. You need leaders in the locker room. And I had a bunch of them. And I could just kind of feel the enthusiasm. We never lost another game.
When you were a young coach, did you ever have a moment where you thought, I don't know, man, I don't know if I'm the right guy for this. I'm not sure if this is going to work. And if so, how did you turn it around? And when did you know that you were on the right path?
I didn't start coaching until I was 30, head coach. And because I really didn't want to. I liked being a teacher. I liked the program. And I liked assistant Jimmy Carter, who was the coach before me. And he just burned out in 2 years. He had a rough couple of years. And so Father Hurt kind of sat me down. He's the one that talked me into it. And I said, okay. And once I went into it, I was passionate about it. And I never looked back. And another thing that happened, and you know this, I started getting talent. Talent started walking into that door. I mean, so some people ask me now, what was the key to your success? And I said, well, the number one key was being in the right place at the right time. And when I was 30, I took over a team that was okay, but we outperformed. And then it was easy after that. So I never had a moment where I thought it was, a negative moment. I had several negative moments in the state tournament where we were losing all these really close games that came down to the wire. But I just used resilience, and we said, we'll come back, we'll bounce back, and we did it. But early in my coaching career, one of the things I tried to do is I tried to marry the program to the talent we were getting. And LCC was a football school at the time. Paul Green, great friend. So I decided to go to the defensive end of the floor and start there, because that first team I had, first 8 football players. We started a week late. My starters were all football players. So we couldn't score when we were running dummy offense. We couldn't. So I decided we got to play defense. So we played defense that first year, and we hadn't done it. I mean, the LCC was kind of a run and gun team. And to me, I thought, wow, that's it. And so through my entire career, I always went to the defensive end, as Doug knows. I went to the defensive end of the floor and then the offensive end of the floor. And I valued defense. And and it worked. It worked.
You have received countless awards over your coaching career, but you're quoted as saying that the Bob Arnzen Award stands out to you personally. What makes that honor so meaningful to you?
Well, because of who Bob Arntzen was. I mean, he was a great leader and a great man. And I think, he's still second in total wins in the history of Ohio high school basketball. And I went head to head with him for many years, but we became very close. In fact, I have a bobblehead in my kitchen I'm looking at. It's up on a shelf. It's Bob Arntzen bobblehead.
Oh, that's great.
Next to it is a picture from the state tournament right after we had won. And his daughter, Jeannie, Bob was there. He was much older. He was pretty old. She helped him down to the court, and he came over and gave me a big hug. And she took a picture of it. He was happier than I was. So I always admired Bob. I remembered when I was like a kid playing CYO basketball. I was probably in the 5th grade. I went to a senior high to watch Delphus and LCC. Remember those Sunday games? Big.
Oh yeah,
of course.
I mean, I was a kid, and you had to get there early before the team showed up to get a seat. So you're in the big line waiting out in the winter cold. This bus drives up. It's a Delphus St. John's school bus, old bus, and all the players start getting out. And of course, the fans are kind of booing them and heckling or just cheering. Well, Bob Arntzen gets off the bus, and I'm a little guy. Everybody shut up. They parted like the Red Sea. And
That's
Bob
awesome.
walked up those steps, and I remember I was going with my dad, and I looked at my dad and I said, "Who's that?" And Dad said, "Well, that's Coach Arntzen." So I knew right then this was a guy of heavy respect, and
that's
what I mean?
great.
And that's the kind of awe that I've always kept him in.
That's
when
great.
we went head to head, nobody that I wanted to be more, but often we were friends.
All right, now, Coach, we're gonna transition a little bit. We're gonna put you on the hot seat in a fun way. Doug and I were talking earlier, and we would like you, and this is going to be tough for you, I know, but we think you can pull through. We want you to name your all-time starting 5.
Yeah, I do that. I do that to myself. I picked a all-time LCC football team in the 50th anniversary. I keep trying to do this, and I end up with the top 10. I can't
give us the top 10. We'll take reserves. We'll take a start.
I figured you'd have at least 7 or 8.
And I'll forget somebody.
That's all right.
I'll start with the 2 leading scorers in history. Would be Joe Fisher from 1970.
Joe Fisher, Doug.
Aaron Hutchins.
Hold on.
Obviously.
But Seg, we're only going with players you coached.
Oh,
you can't use Fisher.
Okay, because I wasn't going to put myself on a team, but
no, you could. That'd be awesome.
You're a great player too.
Number 1.
That's why we're only doing your players.
Okay, number 1 without a doubt,
Aaron Hutchins. Doug, there it was. I told you he would do that for you, Doug.
Listen,
I knew it.
I would.
I would cede to Hutch.
Okay, well, the Hutchins brothers actually would have to be on there. I had both of those guys at the same time.
Anthony.
I mean, that was like, you know what coaching is like in that situation. It's like, get the hell out of their way.
Oh man.
Try to clear some space and let him go.
Right.
It's like with Aaron Hutchins. The best play I had was fist when I needed a point. And
I loved fist.
Get the hell out of their way, and he would either score or create an easy basket for someone. So I put
he was
I
something.
put Bruce Hodges in there.
Okay.
Lawrence Stubblefield, who played for Southern Illinois, was a great player. And then you get into great years. I had Ron Williams was a great player. Michael Connor.
Yeah,
Billy
I said
Taplinger is in the top 10 without a doubt. And then the 3 guys that led me to a state tournament the very first time in 1989. Eric Volbert.
Travis Mary.
He was just a great basketball player. But Travis Mary and Brett DeCurtins.
Yep.
I mean, they were terrific. I don't know if they're top 10, but they would be in the top 20 for sure. And then that 3-year straight stretch of state tournament plays, you'd have to put Dwight McNeil and Salento Bodie in there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, he was like greased lightning.
We'd like your Mount Rushmore.
Of what?
Of all-time teams. What years?
Can it be from the beginning of LCC, or does it have?
No, that you coached.
Oh, brother. So that's
the 4 on the Mount.
4 teams, not guys.
Teams.
4 teams.
4 teams.
like the years, like
Well,
2010 would state championship.
I would put obviously the 2010 team on there.
Got to be on
They
there.
got
Yep.
it done.
They
I
got it
would
done.
put those two 93, 94 teams on because they were
Yeah.
undefeated all the way till the state championship. Or to the
Yep.
state
We knew those three would be on there. This
Yeah.
fourth one will be interesting.
I think the fourth one between 2010, which was kind of an unexpected trip to state, we won like 4 games by 1 point in the tournament. Then we get down and anyway, it's between 89 and 2010. I'm picking 1989 simply because they were the first ones to get there. In fact, I remember we won the first game, and then we were in the state championship game against Columbus Worley, who had won it 2 out of the previous 3 years. He had all these Division I players. It's a close game, but I remember we lost that game, and that was the first time we went down there. And when that game was over, our fans stood up. We filled that place because Worley, even though they were from Columbus, had a real small crowd. And the rest of it was basically Lima and the coaches. And when that game was over, our crowd stood up and gave us a great ovation. It really kind of lessened the pain for our kids. And I remember the Cleveland Plain Dealer had a sport writer who covered the state. And in his story on that, he said it was as if LCC had won the state championship. Because first time they really appreciated what these guys became. So that's kind of might be my all-time favorite team, just because it was the first time how we did it.
That just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I was in Florida on vacation with my family, and my stepdad and he had a phone, and someone from Lima was playing the game on WIMA, Mike Mullen, like the play-by-play. I mean, I'm in 8th grade.
I remember it. I mean, I think I was 5th grade. 5th grade, I was there with my parents. I remember vividly all of it. I remember Worley fans getting up and rushing to go get tickets for the next game, while we're sitting there like, oh my God, all of it. It was just a very vivid memory.
Interesting story about that.
Yep.
We were actually down by 3 points. We were down by 2 points, and they had we lost by 2, so we were down by 5 points in that game. And the game was over. And there was only a few seconds, like 2-3 seconds left on the clock, and they had a 1-1. So, there's no chance. Well, they missed the 1-1. And whoever got the rebound threw it to half court to DeCurtains, and DeCurtains took a shot after the buzzer. It was like a half a second after, and he made the shot to make the game. And I'll never forget, the official looked over at me, and he kind of went like this to me, like, here's your gift. And so it was a 2-point game. And DeCurtains and Mary had a bet who would score the most points in their entire career. Going into that game, they were like tied. And so it was kind of a running joke with them. That's great. Shot put him in front of Mary by 1 point. And so,
oh wow!
Yeah. So they used to they didn't laugh that day about it. But people say, well, they lost all these games by 1 or 2 points. We did, but one of them was really kind of not a fluke. But that team put it on us a little bit at the end. They were good.
You played in some of the most raucous gyms. I mean, St. John's, OG, Van Wert. I mean, just crazy gyms. And LCC was the Notre Dame or the Dallas Cowboys or the Yankees. Everybody gave their best. Give us a few great stories of like, a play that you called or something was funny or, something inside the lines.
Oh boy, I should have prepared.
I put you on the spot there. Yeah.
Pop into your head.
Sorry about that.
I was thinking about in the tournament in 2010, we had to go through Liberty, Benton, and Ottawa in the section in the districts. Well, they had beaten us badly in December, and it was at a lighted field house where you can't hear yourself think. And, she's got that crowd. Well, we came in there and we were down 25-7 in the middle of the second quarter. 25.
To who?
I called a timeout.
OG.
That place is just the Ottawa crowd was behind us and in front of us. It's just roaring. And I thought, because we were young, and I brought those kids to the bench, and I sat the kids down on the bench, and I thought it's time to pick up the hymn books. This game's over. But I remember looking into their eyes, and they were mad. They weren't scared or nothing. They were just mad, and that's kind of the image I have of that team. You had a kid like Ty O'Connor, who was, and he wasn't afraid. I mean, they went out. And we ended up catching him, and Billy Tafflinger hit a big 3, and then Ty had 6 straight free throws at the end of the game, and we win that game. So I kind of remember that. At a state game, I don't know if you were there in 2000 when we went down and we lost at the end of the game because we had a 1-point lead. We rebounded a miss under 10 seconds, and they fouled Adam Stolley, who was a great free throw shooter and a great competitor, had a great career at Capital. He's walking down the court, and they see blood on his leg.
Yeah,
so they stopped.
that's right.
And made him leave. Well, in those days, in high
That's
school
right.
rules, you couldn't put him back in until the clock started again. So
That's right.
I was stuck, and I had already subbed in my 6th man, and he was in the game. And because they had done it, so after he'd walked down the court, getting ready to shoot, I couldn't change the substitution.
Oh, that's
I
right.
basically had to go pick a kid to shoot a 1-and-1 who had, at St. John or at St. John's Arena or wherever. I think that was the shot. All these people are in there, and I got to pick some kid who hadn't played to make the biggest free throws. So I told my coaches, I said, I'm gonna kneel. I told Ron and Mike, I said, I'm gonna go in that huddle. I'm gonna lean down and I'm gonna say, who wants to shoot this shot? And the first kid that looks me in the eye, he's gonna shoot it. So I go in, I kneel down, and I go, who wants to shoot this shot? I swear, every kid looked up to the ceiling. Every kid looked up to the rafters.
Oh my God.
I'd have been all over that.
Oh no.
Dougie would have jumped up and ran to the scorer's table, but I didn't have anybody like that. And so
in fairness, that's a tough spot for those kids, man. Like,
tell me about it. And then, so I picked a great kid, and he went in, and he missed a shot. But we're still ahead, and there's only like 7 seconds to that. But in that moment, people just kind of lose control.
Of course.
We're a good defensive team. We went back on defense. He left his man to double team the ball as it came across half court. He just left his man. And one of the reasons I picked him was because he was a good defender. And I thought, well, at least I'll get the best defender on the floor. And, wouldn't you know it, the guy that he left to double team was open at the elbow, and that guy turned around, shot, and made a shot basically at the buzzer, and we got beat.
That's
just
incredible.
Another way to find a way to lose a game at state instead of win a game at state. But that I always felt bad about that. And that winner, or that after that season was over, I called the high school association in Kansas City. There's an association, and I wanted to know, how can I get that rule changed? How can I lobby it to become? It took 2 years to do, but the high school changed the rule to that you could call a timeout. And then some idiot sports writer in Dayton, in his story, said the coach from LCC should have taken a timeout because he could have got his best player back on the floor. Well, the idiot, he didn't even know the rule. But 2 years later, they changed it. And the gal that helped me, her name was Mary, she was a secretary. She called me to tell me that the thing had finally gotten changed. And she said in Kansas City, they were calling it the Stolley after Stolley because he didn't help.
Wow.
Well, Coach, why I've got, I know we're taking a lot of your time, but I got to, just on the same note that we're talking about, I was talking to Casey before you got on about my senior year, district finals were at Napoleon. We lost to Patrick Henry at the buzzer, and Patrick Henry went on that year and did not have another game in the tournament where they didn't win by at least double digits.
That's right.
And they won state that year.
That's right.
The end of that game, if you remember, we had tied it up, and then they came down, hit a shot like at the elbow, and you had tried to call timeout, and the ball kind of got knocked away. And by the time I think it was Joel was running after the ball to get the ball, like there's 4, 3, 2, and the refs would not give us a dead ball. Do you remember that? Do you remember the end of that game? I mean, it was just utter chaos, and that gym was so loud, and we're out on, we're running around and next thing you know, the buzzer's going off, and we lost that game. So I was curious how much you remember of that game, and
Hey, Doug,
how Patrick Henry ended up winning it.
Hey, I remember every loss. I can tell you, I can probably recall 217. I can't tell you how the games we won, but I remember the loss. I remember that game because we went in the locker room, blah, blah. But I made a point of going into the officials' locker room when that game was over. I was very nice about it, and I said, I think you should have given us a chance there. I think a good official would do that. And they just kind of looked at me and okay, but I remember that. And that was a good team. I really think if we had won that game, we'd have gone to state.
Right.
We may not.
Well, that's what I was telling Casey. We had the road. I mean, we were a good team. We weren't by any means great, but we were solid. And that road that year, we had a chance if we got past Patrick Henry. I mean, I think Patrick Henry was ranked first or second in the state pretty much all year.
Yeah.
But we had only lost to them in the regular season by like 10, and then we lost that tough game in the tournament. But man, I think about that game all the time, especially when I'm with the guys.
I don't say this publicly, and I suppose people won't up in Northwest Ohio probably won't see this, but the commissioner in the Northwest Conference was Dave Krause's dad, who coached that team, and his twin brother, coached Archibald, who beat us at Napoleon a couple years later. Now, his dad was a great guy. I liked him. He weighed about 350, and he would sit in a card table chair at the end of the court, at the left end of the court, as where we're sitting. He by himself. He would sit there, just sit back and watch those games. Well, his kid's coaching the game, and he's in charge of assigning officials for the tournament. All right. So, I mean, I'm just saying, and I can't say, because Krause was a great coach, and that was a great team, and they're friends of mine, and his twin brother was a hell of a coach too. He got 6 teams to state, but never won it. But the side of his dad sitting there. So a year later, when we were a couple years later, we were in there, and I got up because you have a meeting the week before on a Sunday where they give you all the information about where to go, where to be, what time, and all that stuff. Well, he's at the meeting. And so he's very, very friendly to me. And I got up and got done, and here's the seating, and here's your locker room and all this other stuff. Any questions? And I said, yeah, I got a question. And I said, look, I think you're having undue influence by sitting on the end of that court, especially when you're playing somebody with you. I think you need to move. And he was a little offended at first, but I said, you and I are friends. I'm just telling you, I think it affects the game. So he said, okay. And when we got out of there, I'll never forget, the other coaches never said a word. But when I got out of there, all 3 coaches came over and started high-fiving me like, oh, man, everybody up here for years has been saying that. And sure enough, the next game, when we didn't play one of his kids that game, but he was sitting like in the stands, took up 2 seats. But he was a good man. And his boys, Dave and Doug, are good friends to this day to me. But, that this had to be.
Yeah.
You have to stay it sometimes. And I don't bark at officials too much. You know what I mean? I try to stay out of that part of the game.
Well, you and LCC weren't going to get, you weren't going to get the favorable whistle in those small town conference with the cousins. That wasn't going to happen. All right, Coach Bob Seggerson, one more question for you. We'll get you out of here. It's a 2-parter. You finally get it done. Talk about the feeling. I mean, just the whole community and everybody just wanting that for you and the team. Talk about that, please. Yeah. And then for young coaches today listening, from a legend like you, what is your advice? I got several friends in Cleveland who are coaches, young coaches. What would you say to them as someone who has earned the pedigree that you have moving forward? There's your finale.
Well, first of all, that 2010 game was a wonderful way to finish. I mean, I knew it. Some people thought I decided after the game, but I knew it before the year started. I told my administration and people, kept it a secret as much as I could. I didn't want the kids to know that. I didn't want to put pressure on them, especially at state. But that was a we lost 5 games by 8 points to 2. I mean, every game came down to the last play of the game. And we had lost the first 5 times down there on the last play of the game. And that game, we were up by 15 in the 4th quarter against a really good team. And I remember calling a timeout with about 7 minutes on the clock and looking up and going, oh, my God, there's too much time on that clock. That's what you think about. And sure enough, that team carved that down to 1 point with 30 seconds on the clock. All right, 1 point. And I remember looking up into our stands and right to my right, this big crowd. Yep. And they had this look of horror on their face because they'd seen this horror show like 5 times. And, right. But we bent, but we didn't break. And in the end, it was just that it was a cathartic release. And I think if we had won the last game by 15 points, I'm not sure I would have had the same, what I mean, our fans.
Yeah.
But because of the way it happened and the way we did finally win. And remember, Jim DeVoe told me this one time. In the tournaments, and not only our state tournament game, when we went to state, but we won a bunch of close games. Yeah. And even that year, we won like 4 1-2-point games. We won a lot of close games in the tournament, but we get down to Columbus, it would turn sideways on the last play. You know what I mean? So what are you going to do?
Oh, yeah.
If I had to give somebody some advice, I would tell coaches, especially young coaches, to be you. don't try to be your high school coach. Don't try to be your college coach. Don't try to be some, NBA coach that you might be. You try to tap into passion and the love that you have for the game, and ride that. Get on that wheel and ride it, because a lot of guys, they lose their job after 3 years. They should get these young coaches get beat, and then they say to themselves, I should have just done it my way to begin with. Don't look for advice. I mean, get some advice, but just do it your way. Be you. Don't be somebody else.
Douglas, you got anything? You got anything for the legend before we go?
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Seg. You're always willing to do these kind of things, and it's much appreciated. And looking forward to seeing you on Saturday.
Yeah.
It should be a great time. Hopefully the weather stays true, and it'll be a great day. So
wait, you want to ask him about you want to ask him Jordan or LeBron? Remember you?
Okay, well, there we go. Let's end with Jordan or LeBron. Who's the GOAT, Seg? And
he couldn't wait to ask you this, Coach. He couldn't wait to ask.
Compare generations. You know who I think? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So do that, and Doug, I might need a quick lesson. They're going to I do the tee.
I know.
The first time, dude, I haven't swung a golf club in 60 years, but I'm going to do.
Well, I mean, get to the range. Go to Swing Right one day this week.
I think I am. I think I'll go tomorrow if it doesn't rain.
You've got to
get a couple in.
You've got to.
Coach Williams, Ron.
Pardon?
Yeah. Tell Ron to go with you. He's a pretty good golfer. He can give you a quick pointer.
All right, Casey. It was great. It was great talking to you, Casey.
It was absolutely my pleasure. Thanks for coming on, man. This has been fantastic, honestly. So, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday the 19th, coming up at the Colonial Golfers Club, talking to the Hall of Famer, the honorary starter, Coach Bob Seggerson. Thank you so much. We'd like to have you on again at some point, if you don't mind. I could listen to those stories all day. I swear to God, I could.
It's great talking to you.
All right, Mike Konopka, ladies and gentlemen, crisis averted. Crisis averted. We were in scramble mode. Okay, we're scrambled. We're texting my brother-in-law Brady, which, by the way, you might as well ask for a bolt of lightning to hit you in the rear end and win a lottery at the same time for him to jump on here. Like, yeah, sure, I'll jump on. He'd rather
not his cup of tea.
Yeah, especially with no notice. And then Doug texts Dave Billiter. Billiter said he needed time to get his hair done.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Our boy's a handsome gent.
Yeah, he's still got hair.
He's a handsome lad. He said he needs time to, to make it look like it's not accidental, but it, the Lima Masters became an embryo into a child, and now it is a full-grown, strong-ass adult. Let's go.
I think we were all just looking for that opportunity to get everybody together, and we started off by just trying to get 20, 30, 40 guys together, and like, if we're going to do this, let's try to do something good out of it. And talking to Doug, he suggested we take some of his knowledge and expertise and try to turn it into a charity. And in order to make that happen, we had to start our nonprofit for the friendship, and from there it just snowballed into what it is today. And it really is all just because of the Lima community, the people behind it. I mean, really, we don't have anything going on right now if we don't have all of us that are showing up this coming Saturday and last year, really, to make this thing what it is today.
Let's talk about For the Friendship. It's a foundation that you guys all, you turn this fun golf, because everybody has golf trips, their buddies, everyone does that, but you guys turned it into this thing, and the thing became an idea, and the idea became executed. And I got to tell you, I mean, the momentum. And then this year, we've got Hall of Fame coach Bob Seggerson involved as the honorary starter. Talk about For the Friendship, and then the foundation and what it funnels into in terms of Lima youth sports, Mike.
The founding members are Donnie Barrington, Dave Billiter, Brady Croft, and I. We were actually sitting around talking about it, so that's how it got started. Like I told you, we brought Doug in. Doug is on the board, so there's the 5 of us on the board. And then obviously we have Tommy Wireman that helps out tremendously with everything he does, from hosting the events to really helping out with the day-to-day operations. We're able to raise some good money for Lima youth sports because we feel, looking around, that when you look at all the friendships that we have today, not all, but a lot of them started really at that youth sports level. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're fortunate to have such a strong youth sports growing up and looking around Lima. We want to make sure that we leave the next generation with that same foundation to be able to build friendships, because those friendships that you build in youth sports through resiliency, through depending on each other, through needing each other, through understanding that sometimes you have to be the one that feeds other people to be the stars, and you have to take a backseat supporting role. just builds characters in these individuals, which leads to a better tomorrow for the community. So we really strongly believe in what we're doing, the building of friendships through youth sports, and really think that this is something that as more people start to hear about it, and Casey, I appreciate you giving us this opportunity to have this bullhorn, to spread the word about what we are doing For the Friendship, to build friendships within the youth, but also to get them out to do more, to be more athletic, to be more healthy, to get out of social isolation that we see dramatically impacting the youth today. So there's a lot of positive things to this, and a lot of things that we're overcoming the challenges of today to make a better tomorrow.
This thing's really turned into something special, you know, in the turnout last year, and then the after party, you know, at the old Barn Out Back, and Pete Williams and what they are for the community. And it really was just an A+. Doug, what are your thoughts on the charitable side of it, you know, the camaraderie side of it, and how it helps, like Mike was talking about, how it helps shine the light on the importance of the youth sports and what it does? They don't even know the rest of their lives, these relationships that they're building.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at the list of players. You know, I had a buddy I ran into just yesterday that is from Lima, and I was talking to him about the event. He's not playing, and I showed him the list of players, and I mean, he's rattling off, oh, that's, you know, Elida and LCC, Shawnee, and there's people from all different schools playing, even Lima Senior. I mean, we've got all different schools. These guys coming together from our era, and everybody has memories of these other people, and then for us, as we built the charitable side of it, like the people that are sponsoring, we've got the Lawson brothers, who are obviously good friends and connected to Mike and those guys. And we've got, you know, Stolly Insurance, and there's just a lot of different sponsors that are having the opportunity to be a part of this and share their businesses and things like that. And it's really brought the community together. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was on the radio with Seg doing a little segment promoting the event and stuff like that. And it's just pretty cool, the amount of messages that we're all getting from people that we haven't heard from in years, asking what it's about, and pretty cool, and how do they be a part of it and stuff like that. And then when you turn around and look at, you know, the one vivid memory I have from last year, there was a lot going on. It was a blur. It was so fast and the day. But the one thing that sticks out is when we actually handed that check to the guy who's running the Lima Youth Football, and to see their reactions. Like, he didn't know what they were going to get and what was coming, and just the pure, like, shock.
If I recall, was it $10,000 check?
$10,000 they got last year. Yeah.
Hey,
so
man, you got to flex. You got to flex. That's a lot of coin, baby.
A lot of coin, and you could just see how much it meant to them, and I think he's kept in touch with Mike and some of the guys, and how their years went and how that's helped them. And now this year, we're not only helping them, but helping some other sports in the area as well. And so it's pretty cool. I mean, it's going to be pretty neat to see that. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Mike, is the mayor not coming to the dinner? Did I hear that?
Yeah, that's right. Mayor Smith's actually coming out to the dinner to be part of the celebration, to kind of see what the community is giving back to Lima through youth sports.
It's not still. I thought it was Mayor Berger.
No. Mayor Berger's not there anymore.
Sidebar, ladies and gentlemen, around this great world of ours, perhaps the longest running tenured mayor in the history of our great nation. Okay. I mean, he may the over under, I'm not sure, 34 and a half terms.
Yeah, I would take probably the
barely the over. I was gonna say, if you take the under, just terms like 2 years.
Definitely the over.
And he's still got,
as I can remember, to be honest with you. So
he was the mayor. 3 generations of Dave Bergers, and no one knew the difference.
It's incredible.
Yeah, they just kept recycling.
Yeah. Dave Berger could show up, and we would know, like, it's the mayor.
Yeah,
Dave, God bless Dave Berger. All right, so it's Saturday, July the 19th of the Lord's year 2025, Colonial Golfers Club. It's a 4-person scramble, excuse me. Shotgun start scheduled. Is it 10:15?
Yeah, so Coach Seggerson's going to kick it off for us with the honorary tee shot at 10 o'clock, and then all teams will have a shotgun start at 10:15. And so what you'll have that kickoff, and then at the conclusion of the outing, we'll have the 78th hole, or 78th green, I should say, shootout. 78th green is named in our honor of our friend Dan Finnerty, who passed away earlier in the year. But we're going to have a shootout closest to the pin from 78 yards out. All proceeds go to the winner of that. It's a winner take all. So we'll have that. So everybody's more than welcome to join us afterwards, as well as throughout the day. to join in the festivities. We're gonna have somebody there filming this whole event, both the golf as well as the dinner and awards and celebration of friendship. Don't forget that concludes after the awards and dinner ceremony at the old barn.
Something that's very cool this year, the day of, is Penn Station has come on as a sponsor to do food throughout the day at Colonial.
Yep.
So Penn Station will be there for everybody to grab subs and stuff throughout the day before, obviously, the dinner that night, which is really nice since the dinner's not until 6, and there's kind of a big gap between when we start the round of golf and when the dinner is. To have Penn Station there is going to be pretty cool too.
Absolutely.
And people in Lima listening to this, which there are a bunch, you don't have to be registered to play in the golf. You could come out, hang out, have a great time, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even if don't feel like you need to donate either, just come on out. It's all about friendship. It's all about getting back together, building those connections. Come out, come walk with your favorite team, come cheer on from the Colonial patio there and bar. It overlooks the 18th, 78th green. We welcome that, and also that you can still get tickets for the dinner and award ceremony that starts off with a 6 o'clock reception. Dinner will be served somewhere around 7, with the awards and ceremony kicking off a little bit before 8 o'clock. So those are still available to join us for that. And then, like I said, the celebration of friendship that starts at 8:30. That's open to doors. That's open to anybody that's listening that'd like to come out and join us and just fellowship and good times out there at the barn.
If you're listening in Lima, hear me out. Let's say you didn't know about this. Now you do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to head out. We're going to stop at wine cellars. If you're like Mike and I, we're off the booze train. Everybody else, you get some booze. Just follow me here. We're going to go from wine cellars to Pat's Donuts and Cream. We're going to get a power 12-pack of donuts. We're going to go from Pat's Donuts and Cream to Kewpie. You get yourself a couple burgers in there, maybe a couple specials, right? You just pack it away in the cooler. From Kewpie out to Colonial. You see what I'm doing here? We're going landmarks. And then we have this great time. Guess what? Then we go to the old barn. Then we're going to the old barn.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe for some late dessert, you think we're going to the Dairy Queen? You could take your Dairy Queen. World, we have our Dairy King.
Yes, we do.
Then you go to the Dairy King. You have your blizzards. We'll have our freaking tornadoes. You understand? You understand, Dairy Queen? You can keep your sorry blizzards. We're going to have tornadoes. I've got some Lima, Ohio trivia before we go.
All right, deal.
What do you think?
I'll do my best.
Which of the following celebrities was not born or associated with Lima, Ohio?
I'll get this.
A, Phyllis Diller. B, Hugh Downs. C, Donald Byrd. Or D, Jeff Daniels, which was not associated with Lima, Ohio.
D, Jeff Daniels.
I would say D also.
The answer is D, Jeff Daniels.
That would be amazing if he was.
What prominent professional wrestling event was held in Lima in 2011 as part of the WWE, their live tour? Was it Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, the WWE Live Super Show, or WrestleMania Rewind? Bonus, what former WWE superstar was born and raised in Lima, Ohio?
First one.
Okay.
First one, I'd probably have to go with maybe the Friday night one. And then I'll say Al Snow.
That's right.
Yeah, I would agree with Mike on both.
It was the Live Super Show and Al Snow. Absolutely. Let's go with what Lima-born athlete was a standout? Oh, boy. Mike, you will like this one. At the University of Michigan and became known for his flashy ball handling as a point guard.
Oh, Chris, talking about Xavier?
Well, that was that's the answer.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's the answer. Yep, awesome. Xavier Simpson is the answer. Okay.
I thought you were talking about Billiter when you first started off the question there. So
okay. Yeah. Let me go.
I've seen Davey dribble. That ain't him.
Ball handling. What is his thing?
No.
Davey could play basketball.
No, I know that. I just didn't know if he was. I couldn't remember if it was ball handling. Davey's a hell of an athlete. All right, one more. What iconic female comedian and actress, known for her vivid hair and sharp wit, was born in Lima in 1917? Was it Joan Rivers, Carol Burnett, Phyllis Diller, or Gilda Radner?
C, Phyllis Diller.
Absolutely.
Fantastic job, gentlemen.
Who was the clown when we were kids growing up from Lima? That was
me?
No, on TV, the clown that. What was the name of
they did the cart from Indiana.
No, was it from Indiana? Is that where it was from?
Like he'd have the kids show with the cart. Oh
Yeah.
It was like a Fort Wayne channel.
Was that Fort Wayne? Yeah, it was a local channel.
Oh my God!
For sure.
Wow.
I thought it was a Lima channel, but maybe it was.
No, it was. We got it in Lima on cable, but it was the Fort Wayne. What, Doug? You looking it up?
Was it Happy?
I was trying to.
Go ahead.
I think it was Happy Hobo. Happy Hobo.
What hit musical TV series famously used Lima, Ohio as the hometown?
Lima.
Now, I never watched the show, but it was wildly popular.
Yes, and I remember this.
Fictional high school, William McKinley High.
Yeah. Glee.
Yeah.
Glee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good show.
Yeah, I never. Yeah, they were
Lima.
set in Lima, Ohio.
Yeah, they didn't film there, but it was called Lima. Yeah, they were in Lima.
Well, I'm aware they didn't film there.
They even used some nicknames. Like there was somebody that you could definitely tell there was a director or a writer that was definitely associated with Lima somehow, because every now and then they would bring in little things like little Easter eggs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I do remember they had a 93 Froggy 93 like mug. Like, oh my God, that's funny. Mike, what you got? Any final thoughts or parting words or anything you want to talk about the Lima Masters that we missed?
No, I mean, we didn't miss anything. I appreciate again Casey and Doug for letting me on here with you guys and explain a little bit more. Definitely want to thank Travis Lawson and Lawson Brother Construction, Brooke and Jim at Fast Signs and Blue Ash. They have been wonderful to work with. Anybody that has any signage needs to make sure they contact them. Stolly Insurance, Casey, you being a gold sponsor as well. Appreciate your support of the Lima Masters. And then Penn Station being there as well to support us, as well as many others that are helping us behind the scenes to get this thing off. But most importantly, really just everybody in the Lima Masters community that continued to support throughout the year, what we're building here, the momentum. Truly appreciate that and want to make sure I get a chance to thank everybody that is listening, that has been part of it. We truly appreciate the support. It goes a long way.
And it's the number 4, thefriendship.org. Is that what it is?
.com. Yeah, it's the number 4, number 4, like you would write on your scorecard for a birdie on a par 5 at forthefriendship.com.
All right, and I'll put the link up. All right, Mike Konopka, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic job. You have an awesome night, my friend. Thanks for cutting out some time with us, and I look forward to seeing you over there Saturday morning, brother. Let's do it.
Absolutely, Casey. Can't wait. Doug, can't wait to see you as well.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Mike.